This morning I woke up ready to go back to 1978 and check out the suburbs of Ocala, which we can do numerically thanks to the fact that it's got a direct control XY tandem, and we know what levels we've checked, 2 through 7 and 9 on the first selector. Is that right? Now let's see what's on the 8 level of the tandem. I'll dial 69 plus 8 plus 0000. I hear N3. Ouch, there goes another dime. This ringtone is not the ring of the office we're calling. It's the ringtone of the Jacksonville AIS.
May I have the number you're dialing?
That was another intercept call that charged. And I was trying at the end there to reset the trunk and dial another number, but the reorder that comes out of nowhere got me. Wait a minute. That's it. The reorder that comes out of nowhere actually has a purpose. It's an anti-choinking feature. Choinking being the phone freak practice of going down up on the hook switch to reset a trunk out of the office, usually from a step, to redial another last 4 or 5 digits to make another call. This coin arrangement actually prevents that from happening. Amazing. It's the same system that makes dial tone first work so that you can call a few things without a coin. You know, in the Bell system, the steps that have dial tone first don't have an anti-choinking feature. This is impressive. Anyway, the office that we called is probably an NX2, and the reason I say that is that it went to intercept after I only dialed 3 of the last 4 digits. That's an NX2 thing. We haven't heard the office's ring yet because the intercept it used was the Jacksonville AIS of Southern Bell. So this is probably an independent company, not Florida Telephone, that uses Southern Bell's intercept. From dialing around, I discovered that the office is 591, and you can prove that because if we dial 591 from here, you can hear this office get the tandem and dial an 8 into it. This time we'll try to get the real 591 ring. City name is McIntosh, Florida. There you go. That's the real Macintosh tone plant sound. And that's the office on 8, probably an NX2. Now 0. Well, welcome back to the rest of the world. This is Donaldson, Florida. 489 is the code. It's a 355 step on T-carrier, and it's Bell system. We haven't heard anything like this for a long time. The T-carrier, the Bell system CDO. On the next call, you can actually hear the surprising way the call goes through. What happens is that as soon as you dial 48 from here, this office, 236, picks up a trunk to the step tandem, and it dials the 0. So that as soon as you dial 48, you're already connected via the step tandem to the Donaldson CDO. You then dial the 9, which is repeated into the Donaldson CDO, and even though there's only one office code, it does require that you dial the 9. What's strange is that the office we're calling from has full 3-digit translation. I would have expected this office to wait for you to dial 489 before going to another phone company. It ends up sending all the vacant or non-local codes beginning with 48, things like 481, 482, 483, to Donaldson, Florida, another phone company, just so that Donaldson can intercept the vacant code. That's what's weird. Now, on this one and only call I have on tape, another distraction occurred. It didn't prevent us from hearing what we needed to hear, but for some reason, the dial tone came on a little bit early, and then as soon as I got the second nickel into the phone, suddenly the hum associated with that coin register sender turned into a loud ground hum. So that every digit we dial for the rest of the call has that ground hum on it. But despite all that noise, the call does go through normally, and if you can hear through all the distractions, you can tell that just dialing 48 is enough to get you into Donaldson, and then after that it repeats every digit you dial. The coin test, as usual, occurs on the third digit. Now we've mapped out the entire switching train on the tandem except for the 1 level. What's on 1? A second selector, of course, and that has more offices that are local to Ocala. So if I were writing this down, I would start a new table, which I'd mark S1 for selector 1, and on selector 1, 1 goes to the service codes, like 411 and 611. The service code selector, which could be called selector 11, is the only selector that I wasn't able to map. And it really had to do with the fact that the first time I called it, 11 was going to the time. It should have been going to this third selector. But I do have one call where I dial directly into the tandem, 111. And there you can hear the Stromberg reorder from the tandem itself. I got another one of those funny dial tones that you can't do anything with, but I tried. Now I'm curious. Now we can see if this sounds like the low tone from 622629. Unfortunately, the only place we've heard it is here. Yeah.
You have reached a number that is not in service.
Sounds like the same Stromberg low tone as is on that vacant level on selector 1-1.
904-622-629.
Yes, and in my opinion, the tandem is the 622629 office. Now, on selector 1-1, we know that 1 is vacant, and then there are 2 other levels for repair service and directory assistance. Interestingly, it is not 113 and 114. It's some higher digit in both cases. Here's a recording of calling 411 and then 611, and that's all I've got for selector 1-1. Here's 411.
Directory assistance, what city, please?
Ocala?
Yes, may I help you?
What's the number for time of day service there?
The number is 844-1212.
844-1212.
Right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Just a short flash got it to do that. Now 611.
Telephone repair service. May I have the number you're reporting?
Oh, I get it. That's probably the coin detector kicking in. It lets me get as far as 411 or 611, but then if I flash, it takes that as another digit and finds there's no coin in. So many reorders coming out of nowhere in this place. Anyway, 12 is the code on the tandem for the time. The official published number is 844-1212. I'm going to dial 69 plus 12. That is enough to go into the time system, and you can even hear the time announcement softly in the background, while the system, which is an autochron system, waits for 4 more digits before beginning the cycle where you get ringtone and time announcement.
Now there's a retirement plan for self-employed. See Mid-State Federal. Time 7:51. Temperature 69. Now there's a retirement plan for self-employed. See Mid-State Federal.
That was weird. At some point, the relay equipment, which really just decides whether you hear announcement or ring or silence, that's the autochron equipment, I believe, it went back to putting the ringtone on for a second. But it only did it once. And thank goodness it didn't do this.
Now there's a retirement plan for self-employed. Been jacked around lately?
By the way, the code 844 very likely did not get you back to Ocala if you called it from outside the area. The reason I'm saying that is that 844 was officially slated as the time code if you look at documents, especially notes on distance dialing from that particular era. Now, not all places used 844, but it was the recommended office code for time. So it's very unlikely that if you dialed 904-844 from New York, that you would go back to this particular place. Probably it was treated like a vacant code from outside the area. Hey, I can find out. Hold on. Well, I looked it up in the, what you call, distance dialing revenue guide and reference guide. And it's a vacant code, so 844 was just a local implementation, probably in more than one area of the 904. But outside, it wouldn't have worked. Let's see how it works here. Let's actually dial 844. I'm curious as to whether it will wait for the third digit before setting up the route to the tandem. We will hear it dial 12 into the tandem. I didn't want to pay for another call to the time. Anyway, time to get back to jamming the switching train, and the next thing is 13. So let's dial 69 plus 13 and see what we go into.
The number that is not in service at this time. If you feel you have reached this recording in error, please check the number or dial directory assistance in the area to which you're calling. 904-753.
Well, from that recording, the text and the fact that it's Autochron, I think this is Florida Telephone Company. At the time, I only dialed 821, but I got the recording saying 753. And here's a recording of dialing 821. You'll hear this office pick up the tandem and dial 13.
A number that is not in service at this time. If you feel you have reached this recording in error, please check the number or dial directory assistance in the area to which you're calling. 904-753.
Based on the ring trip I heard there, this is probably a step. When you actually dial a phone line, that office's ring sounds different. Notice the sound in between the rings. One 3 on the tandem is Lady Lake, 821/753. 753 was actually not listed as local from Ocala. I only found out about it because of the recording. Probably it is two different codes for the same office, each in a different local zone. Now let's see what's on 1-4 by dialing 69 plus 1-4 plus another digit that hopefully will be a vacant thousand group. That little high-pitched tick means it's probably N3.
I'm sorry, we are unable to complete your call as dialed. Please check the number and dial again or ask your operator for assistance. Citra, Florida. I'm sorry, we are unable to complete your call as dialed. Please check the number and dial again or ask your operator for assistance. Citra, Florida.
For Citra, the code is 595. The trunk type sounds like N3 family. The next call will probably confirm that because I'm dialing a 595 vacant number normally. We will go to a different recording, also very loud in the same office. It will cut through to Southern Bill's AIS in Jacksonville, thus indicating that this is an independent company, not Florida Telephone.
I'm sorry, the number you have reached is not in service at this time. If you need assistance, please stay on the line and an operator will answer. Citra, Florida. I'm sorry, the number you have reached is not in service at this time. If you need assistance, please stay on the line and an operator will answer. Citra, Florida.
Special operator, what number are you dialing?
595-2316.
595-2316.
Yes.
Thank you. One moment.
The number you have reached, 595-2316, is not in service. In area code 904. Please check the number and dial again. 595-2316 is not in service. In area code 904.
Best operator, may I help you?
Okay, first of all, that's not supposed to happen. After the subscriber has heard one recorded announcement already and goes to the AIS operator, she is supposed to remain with the subscriber and give him the report. Personally, you don't give one recording and then an operator and then another. That's not how it's done, and AIS is equipped to do this right. They just didn't send the right signal into the Jacksonville AIS. We do know from that last call that the trunks from the Tandem to Citra are N3 family carrier, and that's because when we hear AIS unsupervising,
In area code 904.
the 2600 chi is muted. You can't quite hear the tone. Oh, excuse me, that's two bursts of 2600 that we don't quite hear because of the trunk from the Tandem to Citra. Being a 2600 carrier trunk itself and being unsupervised, there's a notch filter that's already in place. So naturally, we can't hear the 2600s as such coming from that Jacksonville trunk beyond it. They get filtered out, so instead of chi-deep, we hear chi-deep, like it's whispering. Now, as to what kind of switch that is in Citra itself, I can't say. And the reason is that on our first call, we got vacant code type intercept on a non-working 1000 group. Then we called back and we got vacant number intercept on only 3 digits of the last 4. I don't know of any switch that does that, but there are 5 types that could. An all relay, or a step, or a crossbar, or a stored program control switch, or some sort of a strange digital switch. And it's for this reason that I have to say I don't know. Strange digital is my best guess. All right, let's check out 1.5.
You have reached a number that is not in service at this time. If you feel you've reached this recording in error, please check the number or dial directory assistance in the area to which you're calling. 904-288.
On 1.5, we have 288, which is a place called Okhla, Oklawaha. I guess that's how you pronounce it. Seems to be Florida telephone. It goes over N3 family carrier. The switch type is not clear. I listened ahead to the next call, and the way it clicks into the ring sounds very much like a step. But on the last call, it went to the recording without ringing at all on a 7-digit number. So I can't make a strong determination as to the switch type. There are crossbar type switches that could do this. In any event, here's a call to a 288 ring. I'm going to try to get a phone ring without getting charged for the call. There's no supervision grace, of course. When I dial 288, this office will pick up a trunk to the Tandem and dial the 1.5. there's some sort of a joke here about how I'm getting nickel and dimed to death in Florida, and I'm not even at Disney World yet. Anyway, here's 1-6.
Please check the number or try your call again. Macintosh, Florida. We're sorry, you have reached a number that has been disconnected or is no longer in service. If you feel you have reached this recording in error, please check the number or try your call again. Macintosh, Florida. We're sorry, you have reached a number that has been...
Surprisingly, 591 Macintosh showed up in two places. 8, which is what this office dials to reach it, and there it is again on 1-6. I even went back and checked, counting dial pulses to make sure it really does show up in two places. And, true to form, it gave us the recording on 3 digits. I dialed 000 instead of 0000 and got the recording. Now, why we got AIS the first time and the recording the second time is not clear. It might be that there's only one trunk to AIS and it overflows to the recording. We did call Macintosh before using 8 that time, so let's go on to 1-7.
You have reached a number that is not in service at this time. If you feel you have reached this recording in error, please check the number or dial directory assistance in the area to which you are calling, 904-687. You have reached a number that is not in service at this time. If you feel you have reached this recording in error, please check the number or dial directory assistance in the area to which you are calling, 904-687. You have reached a number...
On 1-7, we have Silver Springs Shores, 687. In 1982, this is a Stromberg ESC. 1978, it could be a Stromberg ESC already, except for what happens on the next call. We're dialing 687 and 4 digits. In 1978, we only have 2 phone calls on tape to 687 Silver Springs Shores. You know, I always like to be able to say what type of switch we have reached, but it's kind of a hard call in this case. Between those 2 calls, we can eliminate certain possibilities. For one thing, this reorder tone is definitely coming from an electromechanical type switch. The reason I say that is it's too loud and too uneven. In other words, the tones are very short compared to the space between them. That rules out Stromberg ESC, the EAX from Automatic Electric, and any other stored program control type switch. And the reason is that those switches always had standardized, transistorized, miniaturized electronics to make their tones. There were no big rotating cams that could get out of alignment, and nothing that could get too loud like that. You know, that reorder is so much like this one in its loudness and tone length that for a minute I considered this might be a motor switch out there. But there are no motor switch noises on either phone call, and no delay for a motor switch connection when the recording is connected to.
You have reached a number that is not in service at this time.
Could it be a step? Well, on a step, when you dial a 7-digit number that goes to intercept, it always rings at least a little bit first. This clicked right in. What kind of a switch that isn't stored program control like ESC can click right into the recording on a 7-digit number like that? Well, there are only two general types, crossbar and all relay. And that's all I can say. Now let's dial 69 plus 18 plus 0. It goes out on T-carrier to Donaldson again.
The number you have reached is not in service. In area code 904. Please check the number and dial again. Is not in service. In area code 904.
Special operator, may I help you?
Ah, Bell Labs. They never make a mistake.
Can we talk?
There was a new AIS format being debuted in Jacksonville. That mistake was part of the first incarnation of the format. But actually, they were very cautious about making changes, especially the special information tone. Prior to 1976, there were absolutely no special information tones in North America at all, and believe me, I know, none whatsoever. In fact, the first time I heard a special information tone, it was from Germany.
Kein Anschluss unter dieser Nummer. Kein Anschluss unter dieser Nummer.
Then, one day in 1976, the Newark, New Jersey AIS suddenly tacked a special information tone onto the beginning of all of its announcements. This was completely new, the first time in North America that such a tone would be heard. Here it is as dialed from the Avon Avenue panel in Newark, calling a crossbar 5 that doesn't identify to AIS.
The number you have reached is not in service. Please check the number and dial again. The number you have reached is not in service.
So you see, the first time Bell Labs tacked on a special information tone, they got it right.
Operator, may I help you?
What's the report again on the number?
The number you have reached has either been disconnected or not assigned.
Thank you, operator. Your voice has been recorded. That was a New Jersey joke. Well, at least I'm not talking about exit 13. Anyway, here from my West Side line is another call to the Newark AIS when they had the trial.
The number you have reached, 435-9979, has been disconnected. 435-9979 has been disconnected.
Notice how the third tone of the trio is short
The number you have reached.
compared to what was used in the U.S. later.
We're sorry.
Anyway, when I heard it in New Jersey in 1976, it was quite a surprise, and I thought they were going international. I figured it was like those new international road signs that were starting to come in at that time, like the no U-turn sign that so confused the highway department workers that they would install it upside down so that it looked like a U. But anyway, it turned out to be a 6-month trial. The Bell system, in their extreme caution, removed the special information tone so that by 1977 it was gone.
The number you have reached, 659-0000, is not in service. Please check the number and dial again. 6.
And with that, North America once again became a place with absolutely no special information tones. Until the fall of 1978, when suddenly in Jacksonville, they put on a completely new format for AIS, which included not just this little gem,
Is not in service in area code 904.
but also it did some very unique things with English sentence structure.
The new number, area code 904 646 9999, and is toll free. May not yet be connected. Please make a note of it.
Not to mention logic.
The number you have reached, 646 9901, may not yet be connected.
Well, I don't know. If it is going to intercept, why are you saying that it may not be connected?
We automatically correct for daylight or standard time.
Yeah, makes sense to me.
Quality first.
Right. Actually, I can explain that. It had to do with track 13,
Is not yet connected.
as in,
The new number, 822-5070, is not yet connected. Please make a note of it.
make a note for later because that service isn't on yet. Well, they wanted to make it so that it said may not yet be connected in case the service came on earlier than expected or the intercept stayed on later than expected. And in changing the phrase, they made the other report that uses that phrase,
The number you have reached may not yet be connected.
the number you have reached, and it says the number may not yet be connected. This is political. That's how bad that is. But it was to keep both reports using phrase 13. That's all it was. This new format was fairly slow to spread across the country. I've already told you about what happened when it got to Atlanta.
The number you have reached, 325-0111, has been disconnected, has been temporarily.
And various AIS follies continued. Here's the Chicago AIS in 1981.
The number you have reached, 931-8860, has been disconnected. Calls are being taken by 814-676-5775. Please make a note of it. 931-8860 has been disconnected. Calls are being taken by 814-676.
The missing word there was,
Area code.
anyway, back to the Florida world. 19 is Salt Springs, a confirmed motor switch, And let's call it first by dialing 69 plus 19, and then again by dialing 685, the office code. In both cases, I'll be dialing something that goes to the recording, and we will be able to hear in both cases a register sender out there and a hunting noise out there. It's subtle, but you can hear it.
You have reached a number that is not in service at this time. If you feel you have reached this recording in error, please check the number or dial directory assistance in the area to which you are calling, 904-685. You have reached a number that is not in service at this time.
Fell for it again. You know, that dial tone that comes on real fast and always ends up giving me a reorder reminds me of that free public Wi-Fi phenomenon that was happening in the 20th decade. It has never worked, but you just had to try it. I guess what's happening there is that we're getting a real dial tone, but the anti-choinking feature is still operating, and so gonna dial 685 now.
The area to which you are calling, 904-685. You have reached a number that is not in service.
There's only one more spot on the tandem switching map that hasn't been filled in. That's 10. Let's dial 69 plus 10 and a vacant digit, see what we get. There's a nice, rich, noisy N3 family carrier trunk there.
I'm sorry. The number you have reached is not in service at this time. If you need assistance, please stay on the line and an operator will answer you. Orange Springs, Florida. I'm sorry. The number you have reached is not in service at this time. If you need assistance, please stay on the line and an operator will answer you. Orange Springs, Florida. May I have the number down?
546-2368.
2368. Thank you. Checking 546-2368. The number is the vacant line, sir, in area code 904.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Orange Springs 546 is probably an independent company, but not Florida Telephone. After its own recording, it called up an operator from the Jacksonville AIS who manually gave us the report. That's the way it's supposed to work. Now let's actually dial 546. We're going to get the same thing, but we'll hear this office putting it through the tandem. After the third digit, we'll hear a ground test, the hunting noise to get the tandem trunk, and then 10 will be dialed.
I'm sorry. The number you have reached is not in service at this time. If you need assistance, please stay on the line and an operator will answer you. Orange Springs, Florida. I'm sorry.
Orange Springs 546 sounds like the same switch type as Citra 595. Well, now we know where all the offices that are local to Ocala appear on the Ocala-XY tandem. Surprisingly, 236 only has direct trunks to one other office, the 732625. Those two offices somehow go together. I think maybe 625 is reached via 732, but other than that, everything goes through the tandem. You know, I said earlier that this switch type is confusing to me because sometimes it seems like a dead switch, like a direct control step. In other words, something that doesn't have timers and register senders. And other times it seems like a very alive switch, common control, like panels and crossbars. Well, one feature of common control switch types is that you can't let the dial tone go on forever. It times out. But this one, the dial tone does go on forever, amazingly. In any case, on my 1982 visit, which you heard part of in Program 2 of this series, I did call the entire Ocala local calling area. It's a much higher quality tape. It doesn't have that lost in the tape noise feel that this did. And even though almost every call goes from this motor switch to a digital tandem and then out, there are beautiful sounds and a new feature. Intercept in the Florida telephone offices has operator cut-through.
Check the number or stay on the line and an operator will answer. 904-237.
And they reach the operator very often by actually putting a call through the very office you're calling. In other words, you can hear a call going out as if someone in the office had dialed it.
Operator, what number did you dial?
So the survey of the Ocala local calling area, made from that same motel, the 236 motor switch in 1982, begins in the next segment. That's it for this segment, and I just want to end it with a very long dial tone, which you don't have to listen to. I just needed to put it somewhere. Here's a dial tone.
Thank you.